It was just over a year ago, November, that I was involved with a charity event called Rock the Plaza in Palm Springs, California. A bunch of rockers got together to save a beautiful old theater there, and it
Yeah.
included Spike Edney from Queen, Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses. We had Jonathan Homey, Queens of the Stone Age. We had Alice Cooper. We had
Yeah.
so many amazing musicians, and this guy sitting right here with me, arguably one of the, if not the best rock vocalist of all time, and just all around nice guy, Paul Rodgers. Hey, Paul.
Well, thank you, Dana. The beautiful introduction and welcome back to radio. You. This is the first show you've done in a while, I believe.
It is. It is. So, everybody says it's like riding a bike, Paul. And I said, okay, well, it's like riding a bike, but I'm a little wobbly on the bike right now.
Yeah,
But
I know. I know the feeling.
how sweet of you. You do know the feeling, because that show was so incredible. And then you
Ah,
ended the show, Rock the Plaza, with those four amazing songs. Of course, ending with my favorite song of all time, All Right Now from Free. And not only were all of us at the audience on our feet and grinning ear to ear, but there were several of us that knew even more that this was your first major performance live in front of an audience after a debilitating stroke in 2019, and that story you did on CBS. But
yeah.
it was just an incredible story,
Ah,
and here
yeah.
you are now recovered. An incredible performance that you did there in Palm Springs, and then you immediately went right back into working on a new album, which you have since released, Midnight Rose. So tell me how it's going and how this album came to be.
It's going very well. I'm still recovering in many ways, but the show was great to do. And Spike and I had arranged to do that to try and save the plaza many moons ago. Actually, I forget how long ago it was, and it came to fruition. And he said to me, "We're going to do the show. Let's go." Okay. And so the time was right, and we did it. And Alice Cooper came on board, which was great. God bless him.
She asked about the album.
Yeah. So um,
The she asked about the album, honey.
I know.
Okay.
We're getting there, Cynthia.
It was number 7 on Billboard.
Oh
It hit number
wow,
7.
that is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what I've really loved. Now, of course, I was privy to hear the album before you released it. Thank you so much for that invitation.
Oh, you're very
Um,
welcome.
and I love the fact that in one of the songs you can hear your grandkids
Yeah,
laughing.
yeah. This, I mean, it's so beautiful. I think a child's laughter is a beautiful thing. Yeah,
And
Yeah,
what
it's
I
a nice.
have loved is that you're explaining, periodically I'll see a post on Facebook or Instagram, somewhere on social media, where you talk about some of the pictures on the cover of the album. It's sort of like a collage of pictures. Can you tell me about a couple of your favorites?
Oh, well, actually, when Cynthia put this together, I've got the album here in front of me, and there's a key to this story, to all the pictures that are on it, and they're all things that mean a lot to me. There's my first motorbike there with the cottage in the background, and I arrived on that motorbike after I bought the cottage, and it was so wonderful to be out in the country and away from the city. So that was very much important to me. And there are various things on there. It's all very interesting. So it's lovely. And she's very nicely done that.
So how did it feel getting back in the studio?
Well, it was really good. I wasn't actually sure how I would be on mic. You know what I mean? You sort of don't really know until you get there. And I got a lot of acoustic songs together, and I decided to go in the studio um, and get Ray Roper is a friend of mine who lives down the road, and he's a guitar player, and he has his own studio in his house. So I got together with him and a rhythm section from Vancouver, Rick Feddick on drums, and Todd Running on bass. So just got together and we were noodling around with these acoustic songs, and it sort of caught fire. It was really nice to do. And I found that once I got on mic, it was like you say, a bit like riding a bike.
Just a little bit wobbly at first, and then when
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of the things I've found, and I've just been back on the air for, just a few days now after all these years, is how comfortable, I didn't know what it would feel like. So it was probably the same for you. And once I did those first couple of breaks, I was like, oh, yeah, this is where
Yeah,
I belong.
I know. Yeah, well, I felt very much the same. Recording, Coming Home was the first song we recorded, and it just felt so good. I could see the musicians, all the guys in the studio. We did it old school like that. So, because I wanted to get the spirit, capture the spirit of all the songs. So it was good to be able to see everyone and connect and just get into the groove. And it was great. I had them in the cans and revving away there. It was just beautiful. Yeah.
What happens when I mean, what is it? Let's see, what's a good way to put this? That you're just kind of going about your day. You're running your errands, you're walking the dogs, whatever. And then all of a sudden something hits you and you think that's a song. What is your
Yeah.
process? How does it happen for you?
Well, I mean, different people will tell you different things, and it happens in so many ways. You can have a line that you like, or two lines that come together and you like that. And that's the sort of thread. And you just sort of just kind of work on that. I mean, with one song, what was it? The song about the kitty. Let me get the title. Take Love. Oh yeah. Take Love. In the
What would
background.
we both do without Cynthia?
Yeah, Take Love sitting with the acoustic guitar. And we had this cat, Kitty, beautiful Sheriday, and she wouldn't let us touch her. And I heard Cynthia say to her, Sheriday, I can't love you if you keep walking away. And I thought, oh, fun. That's a good opening line for a song. So I just developed that. And it became it's a very human thing, actually, That's the way we often are, I guess.
Did you have to cut songs from the album? Did you had to cut some babies away from it?
Well, I did. We recorded more than we actually used on the album. So we just recorded and then put an album together from what we had. There are some tracks, yeah, we'll possibly come back to. We'll see, Yeah.
And no tours, because I've heard you say that. Absolutely no tours.
Well, I don't know if I can stand no, I don't think so.
I've always romanticized what you've done for a living and our friend Spike and everybody else that,
Yeah.
oh, how cool. Everybody does. How cool to go on the road like the rock stars do. And we have 9 days left. We're coming up at the end. Well, I guess by the time we air this, this airs on the very last day of hashtag One Planet, 1 year, which we've been on the road for a year. And now I understand it is tough on your body to do this, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah.
It's your body, your mind, your soul. I will not romanticize it again. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun on the road, but yeah, you guys, you have done
Well,
this for so many years.
yeah. Well, the thing about it is it's all consuming. That's what you live for. You get up, you have your breakfast, and it's all about the show the night that's coming up, and everything's towards that, so that well, I don't want to say you don't really have a life, but there are various other things that you kind of want to focus on more and spend time on, so that's my feeling. See, when I set out from my hometown, I was looking for to find peace of mind, to survive and to make music while I was doing that. So I think I'm there now where I think I'm going to survive, and I just want to sit back and enjoy it, to be honest. Yeah.
Do you have
I'm
favorite
not
songs? Do you have favorite songs from
um
the past?
oh yeah, I have a lot. But surprisingly though, I mean, I always go back to the original Otis Redding album I bought called Otis Blue, which was really my Bible in those days. I used to play that nonstop all the time. And I got so much from Otis and his sort of gospel touch and his feeling of expressing the emotion, even not with lyrics, even in between lyrics, he would express the emotion, I've been missing you and all that kind of thing. Oh God, it was just so great. I
Now,
still listen to that.
what about favorites of your own songs? Bad Company, Free, The Firm, The Law, Queen.
Yeah.
Do you have any? You've had so many hits, Paul. Do you have favorites?
I guess so. I mean, I've got to say, All Right Now is who knew that it would be that long lasting? It's amazing. The song is just its longevity is amazing. I'm not saying it's like an amazing song, but I'm saying, the longevity is amazing.
It
And
is an
also,
amazing song. I mean, but even long before I met you and we became friends, just
yeah.
the opening notes of that song. Of course, Don't Tell Cynthia. I had your poster on my wall, but, but
Well,
it
thank you,
was such
Donna.
a great song, and you hear those first few notes, and
Yeah,
it's just it's such a rock anthem.
I think so. Well, I think Paul Kostoff, guitarist, set it up fantastically, and Kirky's drumming is so, and Andy Fraser came in later, which was unusual for those days. He brought the bass in sort of in the chorus, so you just had this empty air. You had a lot of guitar, a lot of drums, and then the chorus comes in and the bass comes in. It was really building. So it was, yeah, good on the lads. Yeah.
Well, it's awfully kind of you to give everyone credit, and then your voice, Paul Rodgers, comes in, and that
Well,
just makes it right there.
well, honestly though, I'm not sort of. They did set it up for me brilliantly, and I want to thank the fans for keeping that song alive because wow, yeah.
It is a fantastic song. So, what does Paul Rodgers do now in his relaxing spare time?
Well, I am getting in. I like to keep fit, and not that I'm the fittest person at all in the street here, but I try to keep fit. And after the stroke and after the health challenges, I like to do a lot of qigong, which is a moving meditation, and I do a lot of walking, and I do a lot of exercise outside, like kayaking and things like that. Just breathing deep.
And is there any new artist, or what are you listening to these days? What do you listen to?
Well, that's a good question. What do I listen to, sweetie?
You're not listening. You're playing off.
I am mostly sitting around playing like rubbish on my guitar.
No, you're
Oh, no, yeah.
You're Dana. He plays acoustically the whole album every day. It's fantastic.
How amazing!
Front row seat.
Yeah,
I should have asked him to have his guitar out here for this. That's what I should have asked for a personal performance. Now I have to ask you this because I've learned this much about you guys. You do so much for animal charities. You love animals. You have such a love for animals. And at any given time, you have a menagerie in whatever house you happen to be in. So what animals do you have in this house currently, wherever you are in the world?
Currently, we have 5 cats and 2 more kittens arriving today that need to be homed for a couple of weeks because the tenant in one of our rental properties, the house flooded, the basement.
Oh, no.
And they have to all be out. So we're taking these 2 gorgeous little kittens. So
yeah,
along with our 5. So we'll be up to 7 again.
Yeah, we also have a couple of dogs down in Palm Springs being looked after.
Dana and Charlie know all about that. Mama and baby.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So that's right. I babysat those dogs for about 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah. So when we're down in Palm Springs, we have mama and baby.
Yeah.
So no more animals when you get down to Palm Springs. We have a lovely animal shelter there that would love for you to take some more animals.
Maybe I'll volunteer there.
Oh.
And not bring any home. And Dana, you can come with me. We'll go dog walking.
I know. Yeah.
I love it. Nobody gets to see Cynthia. It's just this beautiful, wonderful voice off to the side there. So what is Paul Rodgers? What is next for Paul Rodgers?
What is next for Paul Rodgers?
Well, you go ahead.
No, we're going to do a show.
Well, it hasn't been announced yet, but something exciting is going to happen in New York, and there's a show. Yeah, it's charity based. That's all we can say.
Yeah,
okay.
And also he did some work with a guitarist friend of his. That's all I can say. That will be coming out soon.
Ooh, I heard that one, and I can't say either. So there.
Yeah.
See, I'd even forgotten, and now I remember, and I won't say.
Now you remember, yeah. There's some stuff coming down the line.
Yeah, I like to do stuff like that, like that doesn't involve too much travel.
Yeah,
like doing the studio, Yeah.
Well, let's get back to the new album because we only have a couple of minutes left. The name of the album is Midnight Rose. We talked about all the cool, fun pictures and what they represent on the cover. Just tell me about, maybe pick two of your favorite songs off of the album and tell me a little bit about them.
Well, I think Midnight Rose is probably, jumps readily to mind, I must say, because that one, I'd worked on that one a bit, and I found that with an acoustic guitar, well, the guitar, if you tune it to an E chord, there's a harmonic on the 12th fret that you can hit, and it made such a lovely sound, like an E chord and a harmonic. And there's another one on the B fret, the 7th fret. So there's two chords in which the guitar works as on harmonically like that. So basically, if you want to write a song around that, you've got to go from E to B. And so I worked out and went, she looks so sad when eyes are cried, and I just worked on that from there. And it developed into, I think, quite a beautiful song. And I think it's it's my answer to Feel Like Making Love in many ways. So
all right, tell me about one more on the album.
Well, let's see here. We've got all these songs.
And I do promise that after this interview, after Dana's Diner is over today, we will be playing several of these tracks off of the album, so you'll get a chance to hear them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, a lot of people like Photo Shooter as well, because I think that's gives you an impression or gives you an idea of, actually the idea first of all for Photo Shooter was for a TV series, and I had a vision of the hero being a photographer, or he or she being a photographer, and you could put this person in any situation, whether it's a great sports event or it's a great music event or it's some war thing going on or some tragedy or whatever is going on. You can put that person there because he's or she is the troubleshooter, and it's all about the news, basically.
Well, I can't wait to introduce my audience here at Dana's Diner to some of the songs off of Midnight Rose. It's just such a wonderful album, and I thank you so much for agreeing to do this. It's great to see you. You're just as handsome as ever.
Thank you.
Charlie and I adore you, and we'll see you again soon, and I'll come by and give baby and mama some more love as well, the dogs.
Yeah. And that Charlie is a good writer. Has you finished that book yet?
I love it. Paul Wonder Husband has written an award-winning sci-fi book. He wrote it several years ago called Specific Impulse. And we gifted a copy to Paul, who absolutely loved it. And he has been harassing Wonder Husband ever since for the sequel, as have the rest of us. So I think that is a lovely way to end this interview, because I will play this for him. And we'll harass him some more for that. Paul Rodgers, one of the, if not the greatest rock vocalist of all time. And again, just a really great guy. Thanks for doing Dana's Diner.
God bless, Dana. Thank you.